ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ॐ त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव। गुरुदेव भगवान शिव शंकर भोलेनाथ कैलाशपति महाराज की जय। भगवान व्यास जी महाराज की जय। शंकराचार्य भगवान की जय। स्वामी चिन्मयानंद भगवान की जय। स्वामी दयानंद भगवान की जय। स्वामी प्रभुदानंद भगवान की जय। स्वामी शुद्धानंद भगवान की जय। साध्वी आनंद ज्योति जी की जय। माता पिता की जय। सभी गुरु देवताओं की जय। सभी गुरु देवताओं की जय। सभी गुरु देवताओं की जय। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा। श्रीमद् भगवद गीता chapter 4 and verse number 35 we are looking into. In verse number 34 Bhagwan explain how this knowledge can be accomplished, from whom, how the Gyan Yajna is to be conducted. Who all are required to participate and who is to be paid, and what all stipulations are required. For Gyan Yajna, Bhagavan says, there is no requirement other than two things. Firstly, a proper teacher, and next is student with right approach. Bhagavan says, a teacher who has a very clear vision of the topic, as well as who is Tattvadarshi. The teacher who is Tattvadarshi will only be able to teach you. So a right person should be the teacher. A teacher who has the knowledge about the truth. The teacher who has knowledge about the topic should only teach. The teacher should have gone through the parampara. And then the student should have right question for the teacher. He should not have question arguing. He should have a question, a right question for gaining knowledge. He should have devotion. Towards the teacher and towards the Shastras. Teacher includes Shastra. Teachers and Shastra should have Shraddha and should have commitment to the knowledge, should have seriousness. Then teacher will teach and student will be able to get through the topic. Then teacher will teach. Jnaninaha upadekshanti te jananam jnananam. This is what Bhagavan, this is how Bhagavan described about the Jnana Yajna. Earlier he described about the various religious yajnas. Further Bhagavan says, gaining the clear vision, the ignorance born delusion is gone, and gone for good. Once the ignorance born delusion is gone forever. Only when you gain the clear vision from a clear visioned teacher, so in verse number 35 of chapter 4, Bhagavan says, Yagyatva na punamoham evam yasyasi pandava yena bhutanyasheshanam dakshasyatmanayatho mai. Yat gyatva na punah moham evam yasyasi pandava yena bhutani asheshen drakshyasi atmani atho mai. Pandava, O Pandavas, Pandava means Arjuna here. Hey Arjuna, yat jnanatva, knowing which, yat jnanatva, knowing which, punah, again, evam, in this manner, moham, moha, delusion, na yasyasi, you will not get. You will not fall into the moha. Yena, by which, aseshana, all, bhutani, beings, atmani, in yourself, ato, and maye, in me, drakshyasi, you will see. Gaining this knowledge, which was taught by them, Pandava, taught by them means Jnanis, Tattvadarshis, mentioned in the previous shloka. Knowledge taught by the Jnanis, the right teachers who are Tattvadarshis, Pandava, hey Arjuna, you will not again be deluded. You will not fall into moha. In this manner and by this knowledge, you will see all beings in yourself and me. The knowledge referred here, the knowledge referred to in this verse is what is taught by the teacher described in the previous verse. Gaining knowledge, yat jnanatva, the delusion you had about being a doer and an enjoyer. Enjoyer, aham bhokta. I am limited. I am seeker. I am seeking knowledge. I am seeking moksha. All these delusions, moha, that have been with you thus far, you will not gain again. The delusion of I am. Punaranayasyasi. Punaranayasyasi. Never again will you come under the spell of moha. Krishna tells Arjuna, addressing him as Pandava, the son of Pandu, who is that in this delusion does not return. How? How is it that this delusion does not return? What makes it not returnable? Because delusion, once moha, once gone, is gone forever. Moha means confusion born of self-ignorance. Once the cause for confusion, ignorance of the self has been removed, you cannot commit the same mistake again. Once clearly, very clearly understood that this is snake, not sarpa, this is rope, not sarpa. If it enters clearly, then the delusion of snake goes. Only the delusion goes. There was no snake which goes. Only the delusion of snake goes. You won't commit the same mistake again. Until and unless not clearly understood, if there is a single point of doubt, it will again come. But if clearly understood, then you won't do this mistake of taking rope as snake again. Previously there was a mistake, but if this mistake is corrected, removing the ignorance because of which the mistake was originally committed, how could you again be in the same situation? Unless ignorance come back, it is not possible. And ignorance does not come back like one-way traffic. Therefore, ignorance once removed is gone for good. It goes, never returns. Knowledge never goes. Once attained is attained. Knowledge, on the other hand, comes and never goes. Whereas this ignorance, once removed, is gone for good. Which makes it impossible for ignorance to come back. Whatever ignorance you had before knowledge is gone. For example, you can be ignorant of an apple for even a moment. Can you be ignorant of apple for a moment? Just let us see. You cannot be ignorant of an apple because it is something you already know. You cannot give up what you already know, even if someone asks you, because ignorance is not something that ever come back. You may ask, if I were to have a brain hemorrhage or something and lose all my knowledge and memory, would ignorance not come back? No, ignorance does not come back. The memory and all mental activity may be gone, but self-ignorance you had before cannot come back because it had already gone for good. Gone means no more delusion, no more karma for you, which means that samsara is not also for you. All that is lost if the mind ceases to function is the capacity to enjoy the Jivan Mukta state. Jivan Mukta means that while living one is free. One is free while living. When you are free inside, this freedom can be enjoyed through your body, mind and senses, interacting with the world. But if you are in a coma or some equivalent state, even if you are free inside, but to the absence of interaction with the world on the part of the body, mind and senses, you will not be able to enjoy this freedom, nor will you have any problems of samsara. Once knowledge is gained, it is always gained, even though the physical body may or may not continue to function, just as computer software cannot function if hardware is damaged. Software cannot function if the hardware is damaged. New hardware, of course, can usually be obtained, but here once knowledge of Atma is gained, there is no longer any karma to generate new hardware. Therefore, new software is necessary. Either Atma now being in the form of Parameshwara, the Jiva is gone. From the standpoint of the world, all there is now is Ishvara, the Lord. There is no longer the individual you. The individual, the person has become Ishvara. This is what is meant by gaining Ishvara. Ishvara Prapti. If the Jiva as an individual is not there, there is only Brahman. And with reference to the people who exist, what does that Brahman become? Ishvara, the cause of the world. Jagat Karan. Therefore you are Ishvara. There being no more Jivatva, there is only Ishwaratva. This is the contention presented in this verse. You are Ishvara, Ishwaratva. Seeing everything is oneself, in oneself. Seeing everything. The knowledge that removes your previous delusions and prevents it from returning is described in one sentence here. The knowledge by which you will see all being in yourself. Yena bhutani asheshana drakshasi atmani. All beings. Bhutani means all living beings. Without expectation, asheshana, not leaving behind a single. Whatever being you come across, whatever you see, you will see in yourself. Yourself alone. Atmani iva drakshasi. Why? Because the knower is yourself. Knowledge is yourself. And the object of the knowledge is also yourself. There is nothing other than you. Not even a single. There is only you, all. Previously you had this problem of kartratva, doership. In that you took yourself, the Atma, to be the Karta, the agent of either knowing or doing, because the Karta is always opposed to what it is related to. You are always different from the object you related yourself to. Therefore, a subject-object division was a reality for you. When you were Karta, the reality of division was there. As Karta, you and the objects, subject and object. This duality, which was reality before, is removed by eliminating the kartatva, doership in the Atma. Now I see the self as pure consciousness that is not involved in anything, but at the same time nothing is separate from it. All that is there is Atma, which is Brahman, which is what Bhagavan reveals here when he says, you will see all beings in yourself. Atmani sarvani bhutani drakshasi. This is so beautiful. Everything is me. The consciousness that is conditioned by the knower, knowledge, and the object of knowledge is one consciousness. Alone Chaitanya. The name and forms, Nama Rupa, have no independent existence apart from this consciousness. The known knowledge conditioning is not separate from Chaitanya, the consciousness. Because the existence of everything, Sat, is nothing but the existence of Chaitanya, the consciousness. Because there is no separation. Bhagavan says here that once knowledge has taken place, whatever you previously saw as existing separately, as different from yourself, you will see in yourself alone. It means you are the whole, you are the complete. And not only will you see everything in yourself, you will see it all in Ishvara, the Lord. Also, because you see everything in yourself, you will see everything in me. Bhagavan says, talking as Ishvara, the Lord. It means that between you and the Lord, there is no difference. It is the Lord Himself. There is no other than the Ishvara. Nothing else. There is nothing other than Ishvara. Ishvara alone is. If the Lord is both the efficient and the material cause of everything, nothing is separate from the Lord. Therefore, the entire creation and everything in it is the Lord. This means that 5 elements, Akshadi Bhutas, are the Lord, and everything in space, being non-separate from the Lord, is also the Lord. So to your physical body being included in the physical universe, which is the form of the Lord, is the Lord, as are its psychological functions, the mind and senses, everything then is the Lord. Because consciousness is never created, it was always there, just as the Lord was. In fact, the Lord is consciousness, the Chaitanya, and as such is not created. In other words, the Lord does not create Himself, the Chaitanya. The Lord is consciousness, the Chaitanya, that is the mind, the senses and everything else. Given this fact, who is there? Only the Lord is there. There is no individual. All that is there, including the physical body, the physical universe, the mind, and the subtle universe, and all are all included in the Lord. What is left out is consciousness, that is you. And consciousness that is you is the same consciousness that is Lord Himself. The Lord is essence, uncreated consciousness. Therefore, all that is there is the Lord. And what is created by the Lord is non-separate from the Lord. And what is not created by the Lord, consciousness, the Lord's essential nature, continues to be the Lord. All that is there is one whole, and that is the Lord. There is nothing other than the Lord, Ishvara. There is nothing other than Ishvara. Therefore, you are not an individual separate from the Lord. No way. Or we can look at this in another way. If you are not separate from the Lord, either the Lord alone exists or you alone exist. When you say Lord alone exists, there is no you, no small I. Either way, it is the same. Therefore, Bhagavan says, you will see all beings in yourself and in me. There is no difference whatsoever between the Jiva, the individual, and Ishvara, the Lord. This is the vision, that is the knowledge itself. This is the complete knowledge. The completeness is the knowledge. Understanding Ishvara is the knowledge. This is the most amazing statement. There is no difference whatsoever between Jiva, the individual, and Ishvara, the Lord. This is the vision. This vision is the knowledge itself. And there is nothing else. Ishvara alone is. Further, Bhagavan says, even the worst wrongdoer will cross with ease by the raft of knowledge. In verse number 36, Bhagavan says, Api chedasi papebhyah sarvebhyah papakritam sarva jnana plavneva varjinam santarishasyasi. Api chet, even if, asi, you are, sarvebhya pap bhayah, among all sinners, prakrat papakartam, papakartatmah, the worst sinner, sarvam, all, virajinam, sin, jnana pallavena, all by the raft of knowledge. Eva mere santarishyasi, you will cross with ease. Even if you are the worst sinner among all sinners, That is why even Ravana was able to achieve the Paramapad because of the knowledge. You will cross all sins with ease by the mere raft of knowledge. Knowledge should be there, should attain the knowledge. Knowledge gives, helps attaining moksha. There is no other way. There is no single way of attaining moksha other than the knowledge. The only thrive is for the knowledge, nothing else. All thrives are for the thrive of knowledge. What all we are doing is doing for attaining knowledge only. Keeping this body is for knowledge only. Only for knowledge. There is nothing else required to be done other than attaining knowledge. Here a question may arise as to how can I, who is limited in so many ways, hope to gain such knowledge? After all the knowledge being discussed is no ordinary knowledge. It is the knowledge of the whole. It is the knowledge that I am fullness, Brahman, I am everything, the Lord. To gain this knowledge seems to be a very tall order indeed. It looks like big lump for me to swallow. It is not even lump, it is the whole thing. So, if this is your problem, then Swamiji says, because it is the whole, you need not swallow it at all. You need only to understand. If it were a matter of faith, you would have definitely had to swallow it. If it was matter of faith, you need to swallow it. Wherever faith is involved, you are to inquire. It is simply to be swallowed. Wherever faith is involved, you don't need to inquire, I mean to say. There is no need to inquire, it is faith. There is no need to inquire on the faith. Should have faith, there is no need of inquiry now. It has to be simply swallowed. Here, however, there is nothing to be swallowed because it is the whole. Yet you may say, but it is too big for me. Swamiji, you have no idea of all that I have done in my life. This knowledge is possible for the people who have lived a clean life, who have dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's, I's and T's, who have never crossed the bounds, who have always lived within the framework of what is to be done and what is to be avoided. You are addressing only those fortunate people who have not transgressed the structure of dharma. This knowledge is much too sacred for a sinner like me. Therefore, I do not see how I can ever qualify for it. You can keep on thinking like this, but Swamiji says, there are many people who, because of a particular religious doctrine, have been exposed to think of themselves as born sinners, though no fault of their own, since their birth was an immaculate one. they were told that they have been born of sin, and they accept it. And after birth, of course, they are sinners. If I am already a born sinner, what difference does it make if I commit a few more sins? Therefore, I did whatever I could do. I could have committed even more sins, no doubt, had there not been some obstacle or the other in my way, because I was born with limitation and was unable to do certain things because of my love for or commitment to dharma. I could not commit the sins. If I had even the slightest chance to commit them, I would surely have done so. How then can you say that I am Ishvara? Do you expect me even to understand? Bhagavan says even the biggest sinner, if attain knowledge, if sails through knowledge, will cross. This we will see tomorrow. The whole description by Swamiji. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnad Purnamudashyati Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyati. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.